first, as a Victorian, I often hear commentary from folk around the country, perhaps even at this desk, about how stupid and woke we are. Why do we keep voting for the same failed policies that see the state plunged into crippling debt, the highest state debt in the country by some margin? Why did we re-elect a government that had locked us down 6 times, closed playgrounds, authorised the arrest of pregnant women for Facebook posts and shot non-lethal rounds at peaceful anti-lockdown protesters? Why did we re-elect the far-left government with crazy energy policies and even crazier trans laws? Why did we do all of that? Well, because what is the alternative? As the Voice referendum proved, Victorians are not woke and dumb. We've just been failed by an abysmal class of politician at state level in the last 2 decades. Labor may be hopeless at governing, but at least they stand for something, unlike the smaller Liberals in Victoria who went to the last election supporting a treaty, radical trans laws and energy policy with emission targets that were higher than federal Labor. When Victorians were given a clear choice at the referendum, they opted for the conservative position of the Peter Dutton-led coalition, despite the Yes camp outspending the No side by a considerable margin, as well as enjoying the support of academia, big corporates, celebrities, sporting and government bodies, including every AFL team. Victorian politics is a long way from the grandeur of the US presidential election, but 2 of the top 3 issues in that election are evident in Victoria: the cost of living crisis and the culture wars. And on both issues, we are being led down by Labor and the Labor-lite Coalition. The top 3 reasons American voters gave for not backing the Democrats were inflation, or the economy, the illegal immigration crisis, and Kamala Harris's focus on cultural issues rather than helping the middle class. That's according to comprehensive research carried out by centre-left polling firm Blueprint. This is something the Republicans recognised as soon as Kamala Harris was installed as the candidate. One of the most effective ads the Donald Trump campaign ran highlighted Kamala's radical trans agenda.
Kamala supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners.
Surgery.
For prisoners.
For prisoners. Every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access.
Hell no, I don't want my taxpayer dollars going to that.
Kamala supports transgender sex changes in jail with our money.
Kamala even supports letting biological men compete against our girls in their sports. Kamala is for they, them. President Trump is for you.
The research shows that among the crucial swing vote cohort, they decide every election, culture issues was ranked number 1, ahead of even inflation, the economy and illegal immigration. That's how important it is. But don't expect the Victorian Liberals to pick up on any of these trends. They still haven't worked out that there has been a political realignment that sees the affluent lean increasingly left, while the working and middle classes lean right. And instead of celebrating Trump's incredible triumph and learning how he did it against all odds, at least 2 shadow ministers in Victoria, James Newbury and David Southwick, had current or former staffers in the US donning Kamala Harris merchandise and attending the rallies of the most far-left Democrat presidential candidate we've seen. Talking about radical, Victoria has some of the most radical trans policies anywhere in the world, and nobody voted for any of it. No Victorian has had the chance to vote for or against male sexual predators identifying as female being in prison in Victoria's biggest female prison, or male bodies competing in women's sport, or confused kids being given puberty blockers and irreversible procedures. Nobody voted for birth certificates that you can change every year, or pronoun announcing they, them idiocy. But here we are, with both Labor and the gutless, unprincipled Liberals backing the trans agenda against the wishes of what must be an overwhelming majority. These issues are not trivial. They are not inconsequential. They shape society and reflect our values. If politicians aren't willing to fight for the culture, then they're in the wrong game. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is putting together his cabinet and other senior roles in his administration. It's clear he has learned from the mistakes of his first term. Gone are the rhinos and establishment types to try to placate the swamp. This time around, he is putting together a team to deliver the sweeping reforms the American people voted for. We did a review of Trump's top 5 picks so far on Thursday's edition of the Rita Panahi Show, and that clip has more than 2 million views. Check it out on YouTube. Let's have a look at one of those picks.
Like, why is it that the women with the least likelihood of getting pregnant are the ones most worried about having abortions? Nobody wants to impregnate you if you look like a thumb.
Is it safe to say that based off of your comments, you're suggesting that these women at these abortion rallies are ugly and overweight?
Yes.
What do you say to people who think that those comments are offensive?
Be offended.
Be offended, yes. That's Matt Gaetz, Trump's pick to be AG. He ain't messing around. And here is his new White House press secretary. Look at how she triggered this meltdown from CNN a few months ago.
Tapper has consistently,
we're going to stop this interview if you're going to keep attacking my colleagues. Ma'am, I'm going to stop this interview if you continue to attack my colleagues. I would like to talk about Joe Biden and Donald Trump, who you work for.
Yes.
If you are here to speak on his behalf, I am willing to have this conversation.
I am stating facts that your colleagues have stated in the past.
Okay.
Now,
I'm sorry, guys. We're going to come back out to the panel. Caroline, thank you very much for your time. You are welcome to come back at any point. She is welcome to come back and speak about Donald Trump, and Donald Trump will have equal time to Joe Biden when they both join us now at later this week in Atlanta.
That's Caroline Levitt almost making the CNN anchor cry there. Yes, Trump's picks aren't designed to appease his opponents. They're about delivering his agenda as voted for by the American people in a landslide victory. Let's close this with the latest ad from the Trump team, and I guess he's entitled to gloat a little.
They said he was done forever.
He is done.
The end of this Trump era.
There'll be new faces and new voices.
The final chapter of Donald Trump. I don't know what the future of this party can be.
The movement we started is only just beginning.
The entire system went after him.
Mar-a-Lago was raided by FBI.
New York indictment.
A sweeping indictment in
Donald
Georgia.
Trump says he's been indicted again.
I was shot with a bullet that pierced the upper part of my right ear.
But he never stopped fighting for it.
Donald Trump has been elected president.
Now it's time we fight for you.
The golden age of America.